personal favorites. Duke Agaris. He is actually, like I said, one of my favorites to work with, and actually, in my opinion, he's one of the Goetic divines that everyone should work with because he has a lot that he can give. So, and also down below, there should be a link to my. Let me turn this bloody thing off. Ooh, you can't see me. Ooh. No. But anyway, down below in the bar, like description box, there should hopefully be a link to where you can get my book, Lilith, the Dark Goddess Who Presides in the Shadows. It should be on a site that's Lulu. And then that's where you can go and get the book if you would deem fit to get it. So, without further ado, reading from. It's loading. Here we go. Written from the Goetia, the Lesser Key of Solomon by. Hello, Kayla. Written by S.L. McGregor Matthews. It is said, the second spirit number 2, is called Agaris. He is under the power of the East, and cometh in the form of an old fair man, riding upon a crocodile, carrying a goshawk, which is a specific type of hawk, upon his fist, and yet mild in appearance. He maketh them that run stand still, and bringeth back runaways. He teaches all languages and tongues presently. He hath power also to destroy dignities of both the spiritual and the temporal, and can causeth earthquakes. Or he was of the order of virtues, and he has this is where it changes. It either says 30 legions or 31. So that's his part and his segment in the Goetia. Now, did I just dissect it? Like my little summary. Agaris is a fallen angel, fallen, and is the second of 72. He was a member of the Order of Virtues. He is the first Duke of Power to the East. He appears as a handsome elderly man, riding upon a crocodile, carrying a hawk on his fist. He makes those who run stand still, and he can retrieve them that run, or things that run away. He teaches all languages present, causes earthquakes, and destroys spiritual dignities, spiritual reputation. So, taking it from the top, he appears as a handsome, elderly man. Now, right there, it can kind of hint at the idea that he appears in a way that shows that he has more of a elder guiding vibe to him. But based on my experience, Agaris is actually, like one of those elderly old men that, they like to have fun. And they have those little, like once in a while, they have like those funny faces. Like they go, like the best way I can describe it, in some, um, I'm trying to think of like some old time movies. And like there's this elderly man, he was kind of like say if he was like a really party goer and he's like really fun and kind of playful. That's kind of like the same vibe I got, at least for me. Riding a crocodile, that's significant. In astrology, The sign of Capricorn originally was a crocodile. And Capricorn is the sign that I call it the most supreme because it has four lunar mansions instead of three like everybody else. So that goes to show that Agaris is actually supreme in what he does. And he actually is an opportunist. He takes initiative. And he goes for it. And carrying a hawk on his fist. So that being said, the hawk is usually a symbol for being able to see into a higher perspective and look down and being able to see everything perfectly clear and being able to hunt and being able to see the broad picture. He makes those who run stand still. Now, those who run, that could be interpreted in so many ways. Those who run, well, what's something that can run? Your money. You can have your money run away, meaning that you have reckless spending. You can have a child run away. You can have an animal, pet animal run away. You can have a relationship that breaks up. Yeah. hmm Bird's eye view that's able to scope out, but when it needs to strike, it can strike because that's a hawk. And another thing, like if you're the connection with someone and it breaks apart, and if they actually broke apart from you and they're like pretty much pushing you away, Agaris can make them stop and he can retrieve them. So anything that I just said, money going out that you don't need to be going out, a lost pet that's lost, a child that's gone missing, a lover that's run away for whatever reason, and Agaris can bring them back. The same thing too. It can't be done when saying like if someone kidnaps someone or kidnaps something or steals something, well, they're taking something, they're running away with your excuse me, they're running away with your possession. Stand still. He can help you catch a thief and bring back your stuff. Something that gets taken from you, Agaris can stop them. And the same thing with like money. If you're having too much money going out, like if you have buyer's remorse, Agaris will, he'll, he'll try his best to help you get your money back and figure, like say if you bought something like, oh no. But now this is where he starts to shine. This is where he shines the most. He teaches all languages and tongues presently. In other words, any form of communication, regardless of what kind it is or how it's done, does not matter. Agres can teach you it and teach your understanding of it and being able to use it. Of course, the basic everyday languages, like how there's many languages throughout the world, that's just one tiny little thing. You want to learn Braille? Braille's a language. You want to learn sign language? It's a language. Let's see, here's another one. You want to learn binary? The language of computers, the zero and ones? It's a language. hmm You want to learn how to understand nature? Because again, whenever the wind blows, that's sound. Sound is a form of communication. Water flowing, that's a sound. Fire cracking, that's another one. Pretty much Earth clashing with itself, like having two stones as such. Like Morse code, that's a language. That's a language. And it can get even deeper than that. You want to understand any of these Goetic divines? He'll teach you the language to understand it and communicate with them. hmm Even a language, excuse me, even a language that's not even recorded or forgotten. Like I said, does not matter what kind of communication it is. Even to, um, excuse me, I don't know why I'm having hiccups. Even telepathy, like communicating by thought. You can do that too. Anything that involves any kind of communication, doesn't matter how it's done, what is used, or how it's done. You can teach you it. Any language. Mm-hmm. Anything. If it involves you interacting with someone else to express or interact with someone or an entity or even nature, you can even teach you how to speak to a plant that's growing. Mm-hmm. Didn't expect that, did you? Because when you speak to something, you're communicating an energy. When you're speaking encouraging to a plant, he can actually tell you, yep. But that's one of the things with Agaris. Anything that involves any kind of communication between you and someone else, he can teach you the way to have the best understanding between you two. Any language, does not matter what it is, how it's done. Even if it's something that is just completely off the hook, he already knows it. Like a good example, in high school, I had two friends at the time, and what they did, they made up like their own language up on on the spot, which is kind of like gibberish. And it's like you really have to listen in because they keep saying gibberish, but they say the words that they're saying underneath it. Agris already knows how that's done. And if you want to get extra fancy, if you want to have the understanding of like how like some of the if you want to understand what hieroglyphics say, like in Egypt, there you go. If you want to get extra fancy, invite Agris and Duke Baal, who actually speaks broken Egyptian. Have Agris come and translate for you and learn Egyptian so you can communicate with Baal. Mm-hmm. But again, any language, any kind of communication that involves sound, even trying to get extra fancy, even communication by drawing imagery, painting a picture. If you're wanting to have something be artistically drawn and convey a message, Augurs will tell you how the way how to. Yep. Mm-hmm. Because symbols and sigils is a form of language. Even though it's not direct, it's still communicating something. That's why I love Augurs so much. He can have you understand any kind of language, it doesn't matter. Known, unknown. Even if you don't think, well, I don't know, that's communicating. Well, it's saying something. He can also bring the understanding of it too. And that's the biggest reason why I say Agaris is someone of the Goetic divines that everyone should go towards. Everyone. But even I'd even say, you know, hey, hey Christ, learn from him. I went there. Don't care. Do not care if he's Messiah or whatever. Go learn from Agaris, dude. Then we have causes earthquakes. Yeah. Oh damn. Yeah. Oh damn. I went there. Now causing earthquakes. Now, Agaris is believed to cause like the earth to shake. Metaphorically, that shows that he is able to remove obstacles, pretty much shake the foundation of something that needs to fall. Like if something has been an ongoing issue and you can't get out of it, Agaris will come and just shake it up, knock it down. And if you want to be extra, if you want to be extra fancy, oh boy, if you want to actually I don't even know. I should. No, I'm not going to say that one because that one could be put in the wrong hands. So I'm not going to use that one. But If you want to actually have Agaris bring you a lot closer to a different location by earthquake, you can do that. Because what happens when you have earthquakes? The earth shifts. So he can actually manipulate the world around you and actually help you remove obstacles and things in your path to where you want to go. Destroy spiritual dignities. That's a big one. In other words, if you want somebody to not have the best standing with another divine, regardless, Augurs can actually communicate it to the other side and all the other divines, Goetic or not, and completely tarnish that individual's reputation. He knows exactly what to say, how to say it. So, if so he can ruin somebody's spiritual reputation and standing with other divine beings, if that's deemed fit. Now, another part that I'm not sure if I covered on, uh, and temporal dignities, but now being spiritual reputations, if there's somebody that is actually using their faith and their spiritual practice as a weapon, they're weaponizing it. Agris is probably the best one to actually tarnish it and have it just fall. Because if somebody's using their faith and their practice not as a means of bettering themselves, but actually use it as something to like swing at people with, Agris would be one of the good ones to actually help calm that down. Calm down like, oh, I just as soon as I did that, I had another thing pop in my head. Agaris can actually help you understand your own subconscious. Your conscious mind can actually understand your subconscious mind. So that's a big one. I want to get this. How come I can't get it? My subconscious mind's blocking me. Oh, so that's what it's saying. Yep, because you're communicating with the, the mundane mind. Now you're scooching it back all the way to the subconscious. Open communication and understanding. And then we also have, and since his direction is in the east, that shows that he primarily is again communication because east is usually the element associated with wind, air, and the sun rises from the east. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. I'm trying to dig through my head. He can also help you in gardening too, if I didn't mention that. He's also a good botanist. And he also is pretty good in communicating what you need to have done. Like say if you're having a project and you're having the financial parts with it. Essentially, he's like a really phenomenal administrative assistant. He can help you get your point across. Like things like, oh, the battery's slow. Well, we can go push off. And also, since this is another thing I just remembered, he can also intimidate enemies, opposition, things that are being a pain to you for no reason. Anything just causing stress to you. Augurs can intimidate it and make him run away. He can also pretty much exalt you or give you a good motivator, love tap, metaphorically. I'm not sure if he would be love tapping you like that. I don't know if that'd be his thing, but if he deems it fit, well, you might feel slight pressure in the tush. Oh, you'll get used to it. So now, this is his card in the Daemon Tarot, and this is actually the one that's based on let me the I'm gonna try and remember how to pronounce this. Demarica de Mora. the one that was written in 1583. I think it's 1583. Yeah, that's the artwork. So now this is how he's depicted in the Goetia, Tarot and Darkness, and he's the Page of Wands, which is very fitting. You notice that he has the hawk, and he's on top of the crocodile. Page of Wands, Venus in Aries, which is significant. So, taking it from the tip top. Page of Wands. In the Tarot, the Page of Wands is usually seen as a element that conflicts. Because you have Earth, which is the page, then you have Fire, which is the wand, or the beating stick, and Fire and Earth oppose one another. They kind of clash. So usually the Page of Wands is confused, like why am I in this earthly energy, but now I'm gonna light it on fire and destroy it. I'm like hitting myself in the head with my own stick. As vulgar as that sounds, it is what it is. So, but the Page of Wands is also a it's a lively messenger. Agares, like what I've said, an elderly man that can be kind of childish and kind of what's that word? Not really whimsical, but he devious, but not in a malefic way, like playful way. But now the part for Venus and Aries. This is where it actually comes together. So, Venus as the planet. Besides, love, beauty, all of the luxuries in life. We're not going. We're going a little too basic with that. No, 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 no. We gotta go deeper. Venus is a guru, Shukracharya, the one who takes you out of death, the one who brings you back to life, the one who takes you out of depression like nothing, like plucking you like a fresh radish ready to come out of the ground, just out. Now in Aries, Venus actually owns a lunar mansion in Aries called Barney, which is a nakshatra about death, transformation. And Barney is related to Yama, the god of death in Hindi, also known as Shani's half brother, who Shani despises. That's why whenever Shani or Saturn is in Barney, especially the first part of Barney, Shani is he is agitated, even though ironically he's in his friend's nakshatra, but he's still, but nonetheless. So Venus in Aries. So this goes to show that the teaching style, the teaching of the mundane everyday, has energy behind it. It has a childlike playfulness to it. Page of Wands. Digging deeper. Venus owns Taurus and Libra. What is the biggest thing you need in order to have the thing regarding Libra? Communication, understanding of languages. What does Agaris excel again? Languages of any kind don't matter. So what do we get from that? We have a guru which excels in teaching understanding of between parties, but he does it in a way that's very fun, playful, and childlike. And there are some accounts that some people learning from Agaris a specific language, you ask him to teach you a language, he actually lights up. That's just something he enjoys doing and he loves doing it. That's Aries. The inner child just explodes out. And Aries, like I've said, I've worked with him, I've interacted with him. He is an absolute sweetheart to have around. And he actually is pretty, if not, I would have to say one of the my top five ones. If I'm ever going towards like interacting with another Goetic divine that I've never gone towards, Agaris is probably, if not one of the best ones to have accompany you, because Agaris will help you understand what they're saying. He'll get that understanding between you two, which is pretty vital. Because if you don't have understanding, it's not going to work as well. So Duke Agaris, the second spirit of the Goetia, highly recommend. It does not matter. I suggest him as probably, if not the one that everybody needs to spend time with and learn from, because he gives so much that he's not really given credit for. If you want to understand any kind of language, any kind of thing of communication, regardless if it's tapping like Morse code, even just like communicating by just expression, that's a language. If you want to actually connect your subconscious to your conscious and being able to communicate between the two, Agaris. Get yourself some time with Agaris. Now. Trust me. It's a worthy investment. And also, Agaris is one of those goetic divines that's not aggressive. He's actually very inviting, pleasant, and he's good natured. However, though, you have to make sure you got to use your head. If you try and push him into a triangle, that's not going to be good because that's with him having spiritual standings become destroyed. He'll do that with you if you try to push him in a triangle. And that's the one thing you don't want to have if you're being an occultist or studying the Goetia or interacting with any kind of spiritual being, passed on, ancestral, don't matter. You mess that up with Argris, he'll completely shut you, he'll ruin your reputation for that side. And that's something that's going to be very difficult to restore. So, I believe that's really all I got for Argris. A really a gem, literal gem that everybody should spend time with. Because if you're able to learn understanding from him, you're golden, completely golden. And that's the biggest thing that he can teach you. If there's anything that any of them can teach you, having understanding of what they're trying to teach you or they're trying to communicate to you is probably, if not the best thing any of them can do. Because once you have understanding and being able to comprehend what they're saying to you, even if before you were like, huh, I don't even hear or even see them. I can't even understand if they're trying to say something to me. I don't know. I don't get it. Having that turned on is a big step in the right direction. So that's what I have for Arbors, but now we're going to see who comes up next. Coming up for next time. And I'll just leave it for open floor. If anybody has a question like about Argus or any of the other Goetic divines or anything, you can go Goetia related. But of course, make sure you also watch the intro to the series too about like my 5 tips regarding the Goetia, because that's going to set you up for the best success that I can give you. So that way you have a nice foundation to, I almost said to work with, because we want you to be able to, at least I do, and they do. They want you to be able to go into this as open as possible and to gain the most out of it, but also not crippling yourself. So now we're going to see who comes out for our next session. Hold on. I just absolutely hate it when cards stick together. Somebody get me some. I almost. Oh, that was going to sound so bad if I said it that way. Somebody give me fanny powder. No, let's not do that. That's not going to bode well. Do not give him the fanny powder. But anyway, our next Goetic divine, or our next gems in the Goetia, will be. And if I happen to pull one that I've already done, it'll just pull again. Our next one is going to be Perfect. Our next one is going to be Prince Oribos. And speaking of pretty much good-natured Goetic divines, Oribos is one of those that is the highest in good nature towards anybody. I'll try my best to answer your question about King Baal. What's your question? I'll try my best, but then again, keep in mind, I'm not an expert. I can try, but if you want to actually have a source that is probably more knowing of King Baal than me, I would suggest asking either Kendra or maybe possibly even Marie. I'm not sure if she knows and interacts with King Baal, but she's also another good source. Same thing with Amethyst Rose Witch or Claudia. She's another good one. And this is their turf. This is what they practice, and this is what they're most used for. Oh well. Oh Kelly, it's funny because I just finished with the Duke Agaris, but still, Duke Agaris is really a good one. Like I even said that even God Himself needs to listen to Agaris. Yeah, I know, but no seriousness, yes. Hey Yahweh, shut face and listen to Agaris. You'll finally learn something. I don't have to learn anything from him. Oh, I forgot you're a narcissical twathead. I just randomly heard voices just start laughing. Go figure. Well, they don't look at me. I wasn't the one who was being narcissical. It just died for whatever reason. Like, okay, well, you just get thrown off the cliff. So now there's only this one in my ear. But yes, our new Poetic Divine for our next one is going to be Prince Oribos, which is the prince that has the appearance of a dark horse, but he's good-willed, but he'll tell you how it is point blank. So watch your face and get your tissues ready. But then again, that's the best kind of way to be. Telling somebody, don't know how to tell you this, but you are infected with that stupid virus. So you're going to have to get rid of that. But we will see how that one goes. If there's any questions at all regarding anything Goetic, even about King Baal? Okay. Okay. So you're wanting to actually see like how his appearance is in Goetia? Okay, so here, put it this way. And this is just me breaking it down. I'm going to attempt. Let me just find his card real quick. Oh, there it is. Come here, King Baal. So, so King Baal. Usually he's depicted as either a depiction of a cat, a frog, or a human king, or actually taking the form with all three at once. In this depiction, you see there's the frog in the front, man to the back anatomical right, which is the right, and then the cat to the left. So with that being in mind, and in this deck he's also the sun in Aries, which is an exaltation point. So King Baal, this shows that he is adaptable. He can actually be someone that has wisdom and the humane intelligence to being able to have that aspect of a human and have that intelligence and superiority that well, not really saying that humans are superior to animals, because in some ways not, but humans have what animals don't have. But now specifically, let's scooch over to the toad or the frog figure. This shows that he's actually able to also adapt to situations that involve emotions and have full control. And in each one of these depictions, each figure has a crown on his head. And each one shows that, okay, he's an authoritative. So he can adapt into the human world, the emotional, spiritual world with the frog figure. But now with the feline figure, this is where it can get a little intense. Essentially, King Baal can also be authoritative in pursuing something and hunting something. In other words, if something or someone he's hunting after, and if someone is trying to take that game from him, nope. But again, keep in mind, this is just what I'm picking up off of. Now I'm gonna read a little bit from this guidebook about King Baal. So give me a second to find his entry. So here, okay, here we go. This is his entry, and it reads the annotation part. In Ware's, yeah, Baal is given the honor of being the first highest king in all of Hell's monarchy. The first king. So he was actually the first to be humanized. Daniel Sullivan. Hope you had an ammo drop in your head. Yet in the writings of other demonologists, Baal is only given the title of Duke. So, when in doubt, address them as the highest title. Address them with the highest title, unless they tell you otherwise. And has ruling over the eastern region. Again, eastern. The sun rises from the east. That's the first house. The self. The king. Somebody's head. Their thoughts. What they think about on a constant basis. King Baal rules the east. The sun rises in the east. The first king. Surya, the sun. Sun in Aries, exalted. Keep it in mind. As with many of the daemons in this writing, experts disagree as to their ranks and holdings. I would just say, just call him King Baal. Keep it simple. And he has a total of 66. That's significant. That's 12. When you put 6 and 6 together, you get 12. Simplify that down. 1 and 2, you get 3. Number of manifestation. So his legions, he can manifest pretty fast with them. In the Old Testament, here's the thing about the Old Testament. Since the new one came in, it cannot be used as pushing and making it used as grounds to enforce something. It's only there for historical purposes. That's it. You cannot use it as like saying, well, it says here you can't be doing that. Well, you do know the New Testament came in and completely annulled that, right? I hope so. If not, well, zip it and piss it. In the Old Testament, the word Baal. But now here's the thing. The word Baal in the Old Testament. This is where you have to pay attention and be very careful. The way that it's written in the Old Testament and how they defined it is not how you are supposed to associate with him, because that's somebody else's perspective. You have to go towards King Baal in a way that's neutral. When you read the Goetia and you study these divines, you have to be discerning. You just see, okay, that's their perspective. Okay, this happened to them because they were an idiot. They tried to trap him in a triangle, retaliated. They did something stupid. That doesn't mean that King Baal is going to act like that towards you. If you never interact with King Baal, you don't know what's going on. You have to interact with him yourself. Then you can have your say on how he is towards you. Because like what I've said about that video regarding Lucifer, unless if you interacted with Lucifer yourself, Satanus yourself, any of them yourself, you cannot say a word about how they are, how they carry themselves, how they exert themselves. You don't know, so you can't really say anything. Because there's a difference between someone or an entity having malefic intention towards like a cross scale, large scale, like a group of people, and then they can have malefic intention between just you and them, you and another party. That's between two people. Mass large scale, it's different. How an entity feels towards you is completely different how they might feel about a group of people. Keep that in mind. Next, and Baal was actually used as the term to describe many other divine beings that were not the original narcissist. Hope did I hit a nerve? Good. Let me just hit it one more time so that way you know it really stuck. Oh, which actually translates to several old divines. Old divines, such as Lord Beelzebub. Lord Beelzebub, also known as Lord of the Flies. There's also another term for Lord, Master, or leader, person in charge, authoritative. King Baal. That's what it's saying. But also King Baal was referenced as many other. Was not usually seen as one divine being, one specific one, but is also referred to as other ones. When in doubt, they just called it Baal. But also Lord, Master, Superior, Authoritative. Some disagree to which ancient deity is named Baal. Because if it was anything that was not Yahweh, they called it Baal. Supposedly. He eventually evolved into the Baal, such as the way that he's depicted here, or with the depiction of a man, a frog, and a feline, and to cover all the possible potential manifestations of him. No matter which, no matter which Baal became, there's this recurring theme of Lord, Master, Divine, Authoritative, Leader, King, to be listened to as the original authoritative of hell, but I don't like calling it like that. In some cases, the name became synonymous with Satanus himself. Me personally, Satanus, Lucifer, King Baal, they're all unique to me. Every single one is unique. Even if it's something minusculely changed, that's slightest, I see it as unique, and I address it as unique. Although names aren't always quite powerful in our daily lives, like King Baal, like titles and status, that's why I advocate you going towards them, call them by their title, because they've either been one bestowed it or they have earned it. We do sometimes make assumptions about people, places, or things based on what they're called. King. You're before a king. Better be on your best behavior. In front of a duke. Of course, be on your best behavior. Anything that has a title and a status. General. Marquise. Knight. Like Knight Forcas. Doesn't matter. A title's a title, and they've earned it. They've been bestowed that. So include that as part of their name. If that answered your question, Caleb. And he's also in, yeah, I just showed you he's in this deck too, so I'll have to go through his entry too, so that only helped me as well. Oh, but the thing is, you, you were you did you ever watch that video about what I did when I did about Lucifer and actually like like his fall? It's actually based on the movement of Venus. Speak like when Venus goes behind the sun, becomes invisible, you cannot see it. Yeah, that that's what it's referring to. Lucifer, tied to Venus, goes behind the sun to die. 3 weeks later, that's significant. 3 weeks later, comes back, reborn. Left to die, but vowed he will return again. Just like that. That's what it's based off of. And I know, as soon as I saw that, I'm thinking, oh, very clever, Shions, in other respects. But I really hope I didn't lose that page that was in here. That page in here somewhere. Oh, well, the thing is, to me, anything that Solomon has said, like say, well, this demon's aggressive. Well, look how you're treating them. Look how you're going towards them. You're trying to trap them in a triangle. You're trying to force them to do something. You're being kind of rude and inconsiderate. So what do you think's gonna happen, dimwit? Ever didn't think about the idea of just going towards them and being hospitable, inviting them, speak to them as if they, you want to be treated? I mean, it's like, oh, it's like common sense. I'm gonna just check my notebook. But like I said, if a poetic divine smacked him hard, that doesn't mean that that same poetic divine's gonna smack you hard too. No. But anyway, I have been on for 48 minutes. Our next poetic divine will be Prince Oribas, and I will see you guys on the next Gems of the Goetia.